Hello and welcome to the kNights podcast. I'm your host today, Kikoa, and here with me is Ben.
Hey.
Hey, and it's just the two of us today, so a little light on host today, but should still be pretty cool. So
it's not really a round table.
More of a straight line table kind of thing.
One-on-one, face-to-face.
Yes, less voices, but more one-on-one contact, but more one-on-one talking, I guess.
More content.
More content. And more contact. Content. So what'd you do this weekend? Or I guess even just since the last time we were here.
Since the last time. Not so much outside of keeping busy with jobs and whatnot. Saw the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer.
Oh.
The extended one that Disney put out in all the different IMAX theaters. Like you could go online and choose your ticket. They have a website called seeitfirst.com. And so I got a couple of tickets from there, and we went out on Monday to go watch a trailer, and it was like a 17-minute exclusive.
So you buy tickets on the site? Is that how this works? Or
it's a movie screening site, so it's actually not purchased but reserved.
Oh, okay.
And kind of like the free movie screenings, the first ones who show up get seating until the theater is full, and then they stop admitting people. And the funny thing is, it's like when we went over there, we got there fairly early. I think what was like 5:30, and the thing started at 7. And there were a bunch of people waiting in line already, but they were handing out pretty cool like Guardians of the Galaxy posters.
Oh,
just for showing up. So that's what I have rolled up right over there.
That's pretty cool. So you got just at least a poster for showing up.
And a hand stamp.
And a hand
That's
stamp.
gone now.
Yes. That's no longer with us. But so you signed up like not reserved a spot, kind of, because it's still first come first serve.
Yeah, it's still first come first serve, but they give a limited amount of movie tickets. So I checked which ones in the area still had tickets available, since I heard it like a day or two late. And then I went online. It's like registered on the website and everything. And it's like, oh, they still have tickets kind of close to the house. So after work, just came back, ate a little something, and went right back out.
Well, it's interesting that they would give out tickets, or they'd even have tickets
for a trailer.
Well, not just that, but I'm more for having tickets for a first come first serve. Like that means you could have a ticket and still not see it. So why even either A, have the tickets, or B?
Well, there's a lot bigger chance of you being able to see it. And since the thing started at 7, the closer you show up to 7, because they start right on the dot. It's supposed to, I think, or started like 5 or 10 minutes late, just because they had technical difficulties.
So, like, if say I just rolled up without a ticket, I'd still be able to get in?
No.
So then,
you need a ticket to get in.
So you need a ticket to get in, but they oversold tickets for whatever reason.
It didn't seem like they oversold it, because there's still empty seats in the theater.
Okay.
I've been to some movie screenings before, and like the theater, it's full. Like every single seat's full.
But yeah, I guess, I mean, it is a free movie, technically, right? It's just your time.
Not the entire movie, just like a clip of the movie.
Free, whatever. Well, I guess, I thought for like movie screenings, not like trailer screenings, but...
Oh yeah, that's an actual full movie.
Yeah, that one's a full movie, but then they ask you questions, I guess. After.
Yeah, because they do some further editing within the movie.
Focus testing, basically.
Yeah.
But it's just, you don't pay anything except your time that you spend there.
Yeah, in some of the movies, they'll be like, oh, we'll pay you $20 or $25 just to come see the movie. Plus, we'll give you another movie ticket for free.
Wow, I wonder if that's like for all movies, or is that just for like someone's like, wow, this is really shitty, so we're really going to extra have to bribe people to see it, even though they have no idea what they're going to see.
No, you get a general gist of what you're going to go see.
Well, I mean...
So those movies that do pay you, I was looking at it and like, I really don't want to see So I have no desire to see this.
Then again, I mean, you could, because they give a description, I'm guessing, so I guess the description would be, you could kind of give it a pretty face, I guess, like, if it's like a rom-com or something like that, you can try to pretty it up so it doesn't sound as bad as maybe it's going to be, unless you just really hate romantic comedies to begin with, so I guess in those cases, there would be movies that you didn't want to see anyway. But
I guess.
I mean, it seems weird that they'd offer you stuff for seeing a movie for free. Unless they're going to do heavy edits after, more or less it's probably going to be roughly what the movie is like.
Probably. I'd never really got myself around to seeing those just because it's like, it didn't sound interesting, and the money you're offering or the free ticket or both still doesn't seem worth my time.
Yeah,
so I'm not
I guess.
gonna go see.
Although, I mean, it actually piques my interest now. Now I'm thinking, hey, maybe I should go see some free movies, I guess.
Yeah, you just have to like rush out of there right after you get off work and just go straight to the theater. And yeah, Corey did that by himself a lot. Used to.
Right. Yeah, I remember him saying that. He used to do that a lot. So I was like, well, maybe something I could try. But I guess if you have to...
In some of the theaters, it's at specific theaters too. So it's like, man, there's horrible traffic going out that way.
Yeah, and I guess that's also something I'd have to look at to see if it's someplace very inconvenient. Then I guess it wouldn't be worth my time because I wouldn't want to have to deal with that. But if it's somewhere... I
get off work at 5, it takes half an hour to get there, and traffic's super bad, so maybe like an hour.
Yeah, if
or
it
so
was
to get there.
That kind of inconvenience, then I guess I wouldn't. But otherwise,
and I'd show up right towards the tail end of the window to show up, and it might be full.
Yeah, okay. In those cases, then yeah. But I guess I'd have to look into it first to see if it was something worth doing. But so you went for this trailer. You had tickets, so obviously you're gonna get in. And you got in, but you went there pretty early, and there was already people there.
Yeah, so there were people lined up, and like, oh, they had posters and everything. I was like, where's ours? Because we showed up, and they're like, oh, the line's over there, just get in line.
Oh, that's nice of them.
Well, the AMC people.
Right.
And apparently the Disney people who are taking care of all the extra stuff, they were kind of getting more posters, more supplies and stuff.
Right.
Eventually they made their way around the line. Everyone got a poster, rubber bands, rolled them up and all that. Like, we're going to be letting you in at 6:30. And once everyone's seated, we're going to start at 7 sharp. And it seemed like we were about to start on time, and then people started showing up late, like trickling in as the house lights are already down. And they're like, oh, can you scoot over so I can sit here? There's 2 of us.
Wait, so you're already sitting?
Yeah.
Like, I'm guessing since you got there earlier, you're somewhere about the middle section, middle area, middle, basically.
Yeah.
You knew you got to pretty much pick where you wanted to sit,
yeah.
roughly. And then people who come in late go, oh, can you move over?
And I'm like, there's seats like right there in the front and in the front corner. There's like a whole row open
so
in the middle, and then like 3 rows on either side.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, I don't want to sit there though. It's like, well, you should have got here earlier.
Yeah, I always worried about that, because if I get there early, I get seats, and I mean, I'll like, I guess I'm not gonna be a dick about it and move too far, not move at all. But like, if someone's asking me to move away from the center, like I like go, hey, we got these sweet seats in the center, and they're like, can you move outwards from where you are so we could sit? And I was like, no.
Well, the thing is, the people who were in the center next to us, one guy was a pretty big guy, so he was actually sitting in 2 seats. And yeah, kind of like Kevin Smith, Southwest, but in a movie theater. But no one really said anything. So they went to go up to him because they saw him sitting in 2 seats. And like, oh, can you guys, whatever. And the guy's like, he wasn't planning on moving. He's like, you can squish in if you want.
Yeah, it's like, get comfortable.
It's like, oh, but there's 2 of us. Like, and
wait, what did he? Wait, so there was 1 seat open, or how?
Well, he was. It was more like a half seat next to him.
Oh, so there was one.
And then we were right next to his half seat, and then they wanted us to squish in next to him, and like,
oh, they wanted you to shimmy down closer to him, squish up against the dude who was taking up a little extra room, so they could sit comfortably on the other side of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
It's like that. No.
And then they're like, "Oh, you know what? No, it's okay. It's fine." It's like, you don't worry about it. Like, yeah, we aren't really worried.
Yeah, it wasn't going to happen anyway, but okay.
Yeah, and they ended up sitting in the front or somewhere anyway.
I mean, I guess it sucks, but I mean, because I usually, if I was near the front or if it was like a regular movie or something, I'd probably just go get my money back or get tickets to another movie. Like if you do for some reason get there late, usually to another movie, or if I do, and it's like, well, there's only seats in the very front row or somewhere where I'll have to spend most of the movie looking straight up to somebody's nostrils, I'll usually just skip it and just go back to like guest services. Like, oh, it's pretty full in there, and I'd rather just get a ticket. This is usually what I'll do. I'll go see another movie or something.
Yeah, I remember, what was it, like Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones? When that first came out, we were in the big Newport down in Newport Beach. So the Edwards, and they have a huge screen. I think they build it as a large screen on the West Coast or Southern California or something like that. And they oversold the theater, and they're like, well, it's Fandango's fault because they sold too many tickets that we didn't have. Like, well, that's not my problem. And so what they did, they got out like these folding chairs. And we got there early too, so we were in the middle of the line. But as soon as the line opened, somehow the back half of the line got in front of us, and then we ended up being towards the end of the line.
Oh, that's not good.
It's like, oh no, I'm just chatting with my friends, and all of a sudden everyone kind of cut forward.
Oh.
And when we got in,
so much.
There were no seats anywhere, so they had folding chairs, so I was sitting on the aisle.
It seems like it's a fire hazard or something. Like, they wouldn't... I mean, it's good for you that, they didn't just go, well, tough luck.
Yeah, and we didn't even sit together because I think there were 4 or 5 of us, and we all had to split up, and we sat in different parts of the theater.
Okay, that's still shitty then.
We didn't even get to sit in the seats. Like, every one of us had a folding chair. And I think, this is bull.
You should have just gotten, like, this sucks, let's just go watch it later, and then taking your free folding chair with you as a parting gift. Like, oh, it looks like these are mine, because obviously I paid for this apparent seat. I will just take it with me then.
Yes.
As my parting gift.
It's like, hey, my room's furnished now.
Yeah. I got a free chair.
Starving college student.
But that does suck. I mean, obviously when you go see something with people, you want to see it with them, and you guys basically got screwed out because other people. Because
everybody cut in line.
Yes, all those dicks cut in front of you, which I would just lost my shit. I would have been so pissed off. Actually, surprised. It sounds like you kept your composure. I would have been like, hell no, like these people behind me. Because if I'm willing to wait, if we're all waiting,
and we were waiting there for, it was a midnight showing, and we were waiting there for like 3 hours or 4 hours before I think 3 hours before it actually started, or before they let people in.
That is a good amount of time.
And then everyone is out there, some dressed in costumes, plastic lightsabers, all that jazz.
Right. Of course, because that's what you do.
As you do.
Right.
When waiting for a movie. Any movie. Lightsabers.
Any kind of movie where people actually would be willing to cosplay for. Although, I guess, well, not for a trailer, but I mean, even that, I guess.
There were people wearing Guardians shirts.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. It's like, I guess you could, because I've already seen a few Star-Lord costumes actually, like already with the helmet and stuff like that and the gun. So it's already becoming a thing. That's the only thing I've seen. Like I haven't seen any Groot cosplay, so which would be weird, or Rocket.
I am Groot.
I haven't seen any of that just wandering around, but I guess the Star-Lord one would be easier to do because you just need the helmet, the gun, and the jacket.
Yeah,
pretty much.
So you haven't seen the trailer, the extended trailer at all, right?
How long is it? No, I guess not.
It says 17 minutes.
No, then I've only seen. I mean, I've ever since even that first trailer I saw, I've been like, I want to see this movie because, the thing is, even before, if you take it to before, I remember when I heard that after, when I had heard that Guardians of the Galaxy was coming up after Captain America 2, I was like, what the hell is Guardians of the Galaxy? Like, I don't know a ton of comics, but I kind of like to think I know some of the more popular ones, and I never even heard of them. So I'm like, why not a really cool one? It seems like it was just a mistake or something. Like, why? Or you had to be really hardcore into comics to even get this. But then I learned later that no, they are kind of really on the far end of even like comic book nerds would be like, yeah, they exist, but they're not. You wouldn't think of making a movie about them, kind of thing. They're that far down the spectrum.
Unless you're Disney, and then you're trying to turn a property that doesn't really get much attention into a moneymaker. Well, which they're right on track to do.
well, that's the thing, yeah. So I went from, what the hell is this? Never heard of it. I don't care about this. Give me some more, Iron Man or Captain America 2, which was awesome. And, any of that stuff or something I've heard of. Why this no name? I don't care about this
Thor,
one spit.
Hulk.
Any of that. But then when I saw that first trailer, as I think a lot of people, when they did see that first trailer, a lot of people started paying attention. And I was one of them.
And you were hooked.
I was pretty much hooked. And I wanted to know more about them.
Hooked on a feeling.
Oh, stop. But yes, that was a very clever use of that song to really kind of get you into the movie that I had no idea about, actually. So I remember after seeing that trailer, I'm like, I want to know more about this. And I'm actually excited just based on this trailer. And I think even any other ones where any other trailers were just kept because I think they've had 3, not including the extended trailer you saw, but just 3 trailers, and each one of them just gives you that little bit more that makes you want to see it a little bit more. And it's like, that's awesome. I'll watch that 3 times or whatever, the trailer a few times, then they'll come out with another trailer that even explores more. And you saw like a whole extended one.
The extended one, usually they show like an actual scene from the movie. Like a full-on scene.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was really, really good.
And is it
hilarious?
Do you know if it's still just that, or have they released it like you can actually see it somewhere else?
You can't see it somewhere else.
Okay.
What they've done is at Disneyland and Walt Disney World, you can actually see the extended trailer in the theaters that they have set up within the theme parks there. Walt Disney World's over at Disney's Hollywood Studios at the Old Sounds Dangerous Theater, the Drew Carey one across from the Indiana Jones Spectacular, next to American Idol, I think. Yeah. So they have that one there, and that one's shown in like high def digital 3D. But the thing with Disneyland is they have the theaters that have the motion base. Maleficent was the last one that they did, and that was at California Adventure in the Bugs Life Theater. And they utilized the 4D effects, so they had like the extra lighting effects, the seats shook, or not shook, but they had the little bump things run under your butt. The smoke effect, like I think Did they use water? I don't remember.
I know the Bugs Life Theater has it in there, but I saw the Maleficent one, and I don't think they used the water effect.
Yeah, I just remember sitting in the front row when the dragon was breathing fire across the screen, and they just shot out smoke from the screen. And that was like, oh, this is too real, this is too real, oh, it's all around me.
And that was the 4D.
4D. And then that just sold the movie. It's like, every movie should be shown like this.
And none of them are. Although I did see an article when they were talking about a 4D theater somewhere in LA. I didn't.
Yeah, it's a Korean run theater, and they basically take the theater from like Honey, I Shrunk the Audience, like those kinds of chairs. And they put each row on a mechanical platform. And the chairs have the capability to do sound, shoot water. The speakers are built into the chair. They have little air nozzles on the bottom attached to like attached to tubing, so when they blow air through there, it's like a rat tail going between your legs or something for like a scare gag. They can do scents, so like if they desired, if they wanted to have that effect or program it in, then you could smell things as you're watching.
I mean, I guess I'd have to see it. It sounds almost like it's like, almost sounds, the way you're putting it, like DIY kind of thing. Like, but I'm guessing it's like super high tech.
Yeah,
like,
it's really like high tech. Like
a high end line. I guess I was imagining something
like kind of like the D-Box seats, but taken up another couple of notches.
No, I guess
because they're way more intense and they have a lot more motion to them.
And well, it sounds like they have a lot, not even just motion, but other stuff going on.
Yeah, so it's like combining the Bugs Life, Honey, I Shrunk the Audience, or Captain EO Theater, and the Soarin' Over California ride at Disneyland, and Star Tours, and putting all that together into like a movie theater.
Now,
and showing a whole movie with all those effects.
Now I'm paying, well, it's what? How much is it for a ticket? Like regular,
I think it's like
price, just not for them,
depending
but just
where you go. I think it's like $10 to $12,
something like that. Yeah, that sounds about right.
At the low end.
Yeah, and so which makes me wonder how much you're paying for that experience.
$8 upcharge off the base price, which is about what you pay for D-Box too, because D-Box is like another $8 upcharge, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's $8 upcharge, and then.
So, but this other one sounds like it even has more stuff going on, though.
Yeah,
or it can, in theory, have more stuff going on, depending on how they program it.
I kind of think that they take the D-Box motion code that's programmed, and they use that license for the motion of the seats, but then they enhance that even further, adding in more of the 4D effects.
Yeah, that's what I was. Because I mean, the smoke effects from the Maleficent one, I think you would agree would be like stuff like that really kind of comes out at you would be cool. Is what, I mean, although I feel like I'm already paying a premium with the original price for movies, that paying a premium on top of a premium seems like I'm just getting really screwed.
So that's why it has to be a really special movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, partially. Or what if it's like, what if it makes the movie that's kind of okay really awesome? Like maybe, like just some movie. I mean, I'm sure it's not going to make some romantic comedy that much greater, but just something that was okay. But when you have the 4D effects, all of a sudden it's like, wow, that made it awesome. Or
if you have an awesome movie, it makes it awesomer.
Yeah, but then you're just like adding on to something that's already great. If it has the power to make okay movies great, then that's quite a feat. That's worth your extra money. If you're already super impressed, and then you're impressed on top of that, you're already happy with what you got. That was just like a cherry on top. But if you can make a movie, I'm like, that was okay, and it's like, and then I watch it there. I'm like, that was awesome, but it's the same movie.
I think the way to measure that success is if it can make you forget how much you paid to get those seats, then they've done their job.
Well, I think I already tried to forget as soon as I might pay for the tickets, as soon as like how much I actually paid for the movie, especially if it's something that did pan out to be and then I paid how much, and like I don't even get a percentage of that back for how much I felt the movie was worth.
It's kind of funny too, because seeing the amount of emotion in there, it's almost like watching this movie and seeing how much they move around, like the intensity of it. It's like you can't really have popcorn there and just go flying around everywhere.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to. Well, I mean, if it was throwing you that much, then that'd be something. But I mean, then you'd have like people getting whiplash and stuff, like just being tossed back and forth.
Yeah, because it was on the regular over-the-air news channels, and they had a video of people in the seats, and they're moving around a lot. It's like, wow, this is like Star Tours level.
Is it just one theater, or is it like the whole theater, like all the theaters in the theater?
I think it's a small theater, so they have a few screens at least.
I figured it'd probably be something
it's just
smaller.
The one location.
Right. For now, I guess, in theory.
Yeah, and they're trying to prove that it's not just a gimmick, it's gonna be around. And
well, it's something from Korea, right? You were saying, like, it's something they already do in Korea, and someone's just like, hey, we should probably just do that here.
It never really works in the American audience until you can convince them
of that. Well, I mean, you're already slowly moving up the price, and people are still buying into it, although I guess maybe at lower rates, because now that TVs are getting so big and people's home theaters are getting so awesome, that movie experience is kind of not diminished. It's not, you're not willing to pay as much, and you're like, well, I could just watch it on like.
The other thing too is like if you compare the price for a 4D movie, like you're paying the base price plus you're paying the $8 surcharge and all that. There's theaters out there, like the one that comes to mind is the one at the Howard Hughes Center, right off the 405. If you watch a movie on the weekend there, I think it can cost up to like $30 a person just to watch it in IMAX, and that's all you're getting, just 3D and IMAX.
Is that one real IMAX theater, right? That one's an actual like huge screen. It's not quote unquote IMAX experience, which is complete bullshit, and I want my money back for the times I only did it, I think once or twice, and once I found out what it actually was, I was really pissed off and wanted my money back, and like never again. The experience is them just taking my money. I did experience that, so I guess that's true.
Yeah, so it's not true IMAX size. I mean, it's a big screen. Like, it's a fairly large screen, especially what's compared out there to
it's larger than
other
normal
IMAX experience screens.
Are those IMAX experience screens, I don't think they're bigger so much.
No, it's just the shape. So I think they don't draw the curtains to give it the
and I think the sound is supposed. I read that it sounds better, which whatever. Like when I see IMAX, and when I first went to the IMAX experience, because we have a local theater near us that has the IMAX experience, and when I first heard about it, I'm like, hey, they've got IMAX in this theater. I mean, this is when it first came out, so naivete me thinks, oh, and what I'm sure whenever anyone
have
hears
a huge screen.
Anytime you hear IMAX, but at least before, it was always like, oh, it's going to be on this giant screen because that's IMAX. But then they made this bullshit IMAX experience, which isn't really.
They just take their existing largest theater and say, this is now IMAX.
Yeah, and then charge you more, and I guess do something to the sound, but I couldn't tell. I remember I think I saw the first Star Trek, the remake, the first one, and I really liked that movie. And I saw it originally just in the normal theater, and then I think I went again with some other people, and then saw it in the IMAX experience, and I'm like, what the hell's the difference? I literally could not tell the difference, other than my wallet was a little bit more empty, but other than that, same experience. From what I could tell, maybe I'm just not as savvy as other people, but I mean, that's why I'm like, is the Howard Hughes one. You said it's still big. It's not as big as a real IMAX, I guess, but it's still bigger than most. It's still a really big screen. Enough. Actually, no. I think I did see something there. I think I saw one of the Harry Potters or something, and I had to reserve my seat. And yeah, it was a bigger screen, or their IMAX theater one was a bigger screen.
Like it's a big screen. If you sit too far back, though, then it's just like a normal theater.
I think we're still sitting either in the back row or second or third row to the back, and it still seemed really big. Like, I guess,
yeah, because the theater itself is a fairly big theater.
Yeah, so I still got the feeling. Actually, I almost liked sitting that far back in that particular one because I don't think I had to swivel my head. I could still see all of the screen. Whereas if I felt like if I sat too close, I'd be moving left and right to keep up with the action. Almost like a tennis match. I'd be looking left, like, what's going on over there? What's going on over there? I just get dizzy by halfway through the movie. It's like, okay, everything better happen in the middle because I can't keep looking over to the left and right. Although it kind of makes me think of, like, they have those curved screens. Or not in movie theaters, but I heard for TVs, that's kind of the next technology that's coming out. It's like it's supposed to be curved in some way, so it gives like a better experience. I don't know.
You're enveloped by the movie.
Something like that. It's like instead of going 3D, which they've been trying to push, but kind of hasn't been developed as much, or it's been developed, but because it's caught on as much.
CinemaScope?
But it's something. I mean, I've only heard about a little bit, but it's supposed to be kind of the next thing, wasn't
that CinemaScope a long time ago? What they called it?
Probably. It's probably, yeah.
Like where the screen was kind of slightly curved around you in the theater.
Well, I know they have, or I think they have some theaters that still have.
Or I'm just thinking Circle Vision.
Okay. It wasn't Circle Vision, but I mean that's its own kind of awesome thing. But anyways,
this movie was shot in Circle Vision 360.
But IMAX, and I mean, I don't think I've seen anything. I haven't seen anything for a while in like true IMAX. I'm not sure. I guess that's the closest is that one that the Howard Hughes is near us, but Parkway.
Yeah, the true IMAX screens, they don't show theatrical movies. They show like documentaries, like the one at USC, was it the Discovery Center or the Science Center? Yeah, I've seen some movies over there, and those are like those short 20-minute ones, like Space Odyssey and the Oceans and some other stuff. But it's to kind of showcase the technology behind IMAX and like, wow, look at this. You can look at this huge picture and see like crystal sharp detail and everything, and see individual everything on the plants, like the little fibers, little hairs on the animals and everything.
Well, when it's that big too on IMAX, it does make even, I guess, I don't know, let's just say boring, but like some documentaries that you might not be interested in, they kind of just get that kind of ooh factor because they're so much bigger.
The screen is so big, even if you're looking around, you're totally enveloped. Like it envelops your periphery too, so you can't, you kind of have to look left, right, up, down, diagonally and everything just to kind of take everything all in at once. But it feels like you're part of the movie, like you're inside it almost. And that's sort of like what they do with the Soarin' over California at California Adventure.
Yeah.
They take like that IMAX projector, but they curve the screen all around you. So when you're on that kind of hang glider base seat and they lift you up into the screen, it's like, oh wow, I'm flying. I'm doing all this stuff. Unless you have feet dangling in front of you, but pretty much the illusion is still there, and it just gives you that sense of, wow, this is awesome.
So we kind of gone far off, but going back to Guardian. So you're sitting in this theater, you got your seats, shooing other people away, and then they have technical difficulties. Is that?
Yeah, they couldn't get the sound to work, so they were showing the still for promoting the trailer, saying Guardians, buy your tickets, opens on August, and then they show the director talking and his mouth is moving but no sound's coming out. And then they fade to black, show the original placeholder screen again, and everyone's like, yeah, that was an awesome trailer.
Let's go.
And then they show him talking again and still no sound, and everyone's laughing, and then they cut back to that first screen like, yeah, that was awesome. So that went on like too many times. Nah. And finally they did get it working. The sound came up, everyone cheered like, yeah, finally. And I think everyone was at that point just expecting to play through. It's like, just let it play, we're tired now, we just want to see it. And like by the time this thing starts showing, everyone else has already seen the thing and have posted about it and are calling and like, did you see it? I saw it, I beat you to it. No, but they eventually got it working, and then they showed it. So it's the director saying, I wanted to show you the trailer, showcase the movie and IMAX and this new technology, and we reshot scenes and just took advantage of it. So here's the trailer and enjoy. And so they showed a little trailer, then it went right into a scene, like a clip from the movie. And should I say what it was?
Well, that's what I was wondering, actually. So they're showing it at Walt Disney World and at Disneyland, but can you just find it online, or is it not available online? Because I had heard that they released another trailer, but I don't think it was the extended one. But I'm guessing now by this time, if it's running at both those places, someone
like you'll be able to find it online, but it wouldn't be an official release of the trailer online.
I guess. You'd probably find some YouTube cam of it, I guess, which would be kind of crappier version, but at least you get to see it.
Yeah, because they're trying to sell the experience and try to, using synergy, get people to.
Well, I don't see, but on the other side, I'm like, why wouldn't you just release the trailer officially instead of having? I'm not sure. Maybe it is released, maybe it's not, or maybe because people are going to just record on their phones and then upload it to YouTube.
Yeah, but it's more that wow factor too. So when you're actually physically there in person and you see it on an IMAX screen, in quotations,
well,
you're supposed to come away with a feeling like, oh wow, that was really, really cool. And I kind of felt that way too, because I don't really know much about Guardians, and I just saw like, hey, there's a cute little raccoon there that shoots guns.
Yeah, but that's been the past two trailers, I think.
Yeah, but that wasn't, I don't really know much about anything else, and then this trailer explained a lot more of it. And then after watching it and seeing the interaction, like there's a lot of funny moments in there, and it really sold the movie. So
yeah, but that's cool for anyone who A, lives near Disneyland or Disney World, and B, has passes or tickets to said places. Everyone else is just, that's a lot of people who don't get to see the trailer at all then, if they can only see it.
Well, they're also trying to use a word of mouth to spread, because that's the best kind of advertising.
Well, yeah, but if you put out an official trailer, the word of mouth is, hey, go here, see trailer, as opposed to, I saw this awesome trailer, let me describe it to you poorly, that you will like, what the hell was that kind of thing, as opposed to just, hey, go to this URL and you'll see an awesome trailer. And not some dude's handy cam of it, but some, like, the official HD by Disney. That's why I'm like,
yeah, but I think it's not really as a controlled experience, because some people have big monitors, some people are watching off their laptop, other people are watching off their
True, but at least everyone sees it. Right now, the way it is, only a select few get to see it.
Because there's a lot of eye candy that goes on there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why you need to have that big screen.
True, but once again, small audience will get to see it.
Yeah.
If you don't get to see it, doesn't matter how awesome it is.
But
they never got to see it, so.
But word of mouth. That
once again, this was awesome. You should see this. This happened, and someone shot this, and like, wow, that's a really shitty idea. I don't want to watch that. That sounds crappy. Unless they are really good storytellers and they can shoot scene for scene. Like, I think all the trailers that come out. Sure, if it had been in if I had seen it on IMAX screen, it would have been awesome. But just so far from the trailers I've seen, it stands on its own. It just looks awesome. I could watch it on somebody's phone, and I still think that what's being shot is awesome, regardless of any other kinds of tricks to make it seem more awesome, like a big screen or shaking effects or anything. Because the movie itself, it actually stands on. It doesn't need any gimmicks. It's just a really kind of, and I don't know. I still don't really know too much. I know more than the average person probably, because what I was thinking is when you got the posters, I'm surprised they didn't give you. This is kind of a tangent, but for Free Comic Book Day a couple of weeks ago, one of the free comics was the Guardians of the Galaxy. Actually, what had happened was I remembered that it was Free Comic Book Day, but way late in the day. So we went to the local place that sells comics, and when we got there, it's there was I think 20 different kind of comics, but when we got there's only 2 types left. It was the Guardians of the Galaxy and this other one. And we're like, can we just have these 2? And yeah, whatever.
I'm pretty sure Disney saturated the market for that.
Oh my! Well, because that's what, and it was a good thing too, because basically it kind of served as marketing.
Synergy.
I read through the other comic that I got, and I just kind of put it aside. But the Guardian one, I read through it and I kept it because it kind of serves as an introduction to the characters. It's actually brilliant. They use the free comic book that basically people were getting for free anyway and just handed it out. And it's kind of because the Guardians of the Galaxy as a group, as its own comic, has been around for a while, and it's got different stories and stuff. This free comic book that they came out is basically the characters from the movie. So it's its own comic book, but it ties into the movie as the characters. So you read the book, you know the characters. It's not a very big comic, and it was free, so it's like free advertising. It worked for me. I saw the connection right there. I'm like, this is brilliant. Because I read the comic and now I know these characters.
Yeah, the trailer serves the same purpose too. It introduces the characters to you in person, in
the
moving,
one.
talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
So real life introduction type. And you get to see the interplay between the characters and how they interact, and it's oh, this guy's a smart aleck, oh, this guy is this, that one's like that, and everything. But I still, even after having seen the trailer, and I'm already sold on the movie to go see it, I still want to see the trailer, make my way out to Disneyland and see it with that kind of gimmicky additional effects, to have it with the wind, water, the bouncing theater floor.
Yeah, I'm not denying that
3D
would be awesome.
high def projection, all that.
All it'll just make you do is want to see the whole movie like that, though, and you're only going to be in for a letdown.
At least I'll get to see it in D-Box. So that one will be...
Well, no, you could go to that theater.
Which one?
The
4D one?
If you were waiting for something that you thought would be worth going to the theater, it sounds like this is it. This is kind of that movie. I don't know what else it would be.
Pacific Rim.
Well, that's not coming out for a while, so...
2.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not coming out for a while. So, you could wait till then, or this movie's out now.
Avengers
the
3
exists now. Still got at least 2 more movies for that.
Fast and the Furious...
12. I don't know. But basically, this would be... there's plenty of movies you could go see, but it sounds like this one could be the one that would be worth going to wherever it is, paying whatever it is, and getting to see the movie in the 4D with all the effects.
Yeah. Well, if I can't make it out to that specific 4D theater, then I'll definitely see it in D-Box at least.
Well,
at the very least.
Obviously.
And that way I'll still get not as intense motion, still 3D, and an awesome movie.
Yeah, well, I'm not really that big on 3D since I can't see it I can barely see it at all, actually. I don't have the ability to see in 3D.
Well, it wasn't really gimmicky 3D. It was more like just adding depth to the whole movie.
Well, so kind of like Avatar, like seemed to have like
or like 3D playing a game.
Went
I didn't
further.
See that one.
Oh well,
but like the 3DS, where you turn on the 3D, and it's like, oh, instead of coming out of the screen, everything got deeper into the screen.
Right, which is, I could usually see that one sometimes, but yeah, if anything's popping out of the screen, it looks flat to me. So it's kind of a waste of money for me to see stuff in 3D because I never see very rarely, every once in a great while, I'll actually see an effect. Like sometimes I could see when we're watching Captain EO, I could see there was that floating asteroid that floats out in front of you, and
was it Furball?
I don't know if I could really tell if for him, but I remember distinctly seeing the asteroid floating in front, and I'm like, this is awesome. This must be what everybody sees for every kind of 3D. I'm not sure how I did it. I'm not sure, maybe I was unfocused or super focused, but one time. And then I always wanted to go back and see it, but I never quite got it to work again. So I'm not quite sure how to focus my vision so it works properly. But apparently I'm not the only one that can't. There's a good portion of the population that they don't see, and when they see the 3D effects, their eyes don't adjust to it to make it look like it's 3D. They see a flat screen, which is what I usually see most of the time watching 3D. So I don't pay for 3D. I always try to go to the unless I have to. Like I see it in D-Box, which is still 3D. So it's kind of like, well, I'm paying more for the D-Box than the 3D anyway.
Yeah, usually I don't do 3D myself either. Not because I can't see it. Like I can see it fine, but it's the 3D kind of goggles that go over
the polarized ones.
Yeah. They're not really made for people who wear glasses, so they slip off and you're kind of tilting your head weird ways as you're watching the movie for it to stay on your head.
That's interesting. I thought they were kind of, because I don't wear glasses, but they seemed really big on me, so I'm like, oh, these must be really big for people to accommodate glasses. That's why I thought.
Well, the big fancy ones, they're made to block out all the surrounding light around your eye.
Oh, okay. That's, I guess, the ones I was thinking about. But I guess other ones are just really just glasses that go over your glasses, not the ones that totally envelop your, like, welding goggles kind of thing.
Yeah, so those are supposed to kill off your peripheral vision and get you to focus directly on the screen, so I guess that kind of helps with the 3D focusing.
It's like blinders, focus.
Except they don't sit very well, and it's like you have glasses that sit on the bridge of your nose, and you have these that sit in front of your glasses, which don't touch your bridge of your nose, and they start sliding down your face as you're watching the movie, and you're like, ah.
Also, they also kind of, the Polaroids, I didn't get it eventually. Polarized version glasses also make the screen darker because they're darker just by their very nature. So they kind of
the fancier ones, those are actually colored, so it's a green lens and an orange lens, but you can't really tell. But they're mirrored on the front.
I just remember that everything looks kind of dimmer when I'm looking through them, unless I mean, just because of how the technology works. It's not, they're obviously not making them darker. They'd rather not, but it's just kind of what comes with the territory if you're using them. But it's just another even added problem to using the glasses. I mean, I've heard, like I said, I still try to avoid it when I can. Plus, it's nice to save a bit of money on top of that. Although I do wish I could see it. I assume it's awesome, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's just really crappy, because there seems to be a lot of hate for 3D anyway. It's just in general. Most people just hate on it. I hate on it because it costs more and I can't see it anyway, so it's useless to me. But people who can see, I'd assume they would like it, but it seems to be a lot of people are like, or maybe it's because it's just too much. Everything's in 3D now. I'm having trouble thinking of releases that don't have a 3D release with them. And a lot of them, I'm guessing, are 3D in post. They're not even shot.
Well, it's a way to make more money for the theater too, and the movie company.
Right. Yeah, well, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it if there was. I mean, obviously they're in it for
there's
money. There's
definitely a
profit.
demand for that. Like, people are willing to shell out money for the extra features, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, I guess so.
Even if it is like post-production, not really filmed in true 3D, not meant for 3D initially, but like was converted.
They didn't even. Well, I would say they didn't even anticipate it being in 3D, so they didn't like go through the effort of even like making 3D-ish things happen, like even having things come at the screen, because they're like, well, although in this day and age, since basically everything's getting a 3D release in some form, except for some movies, but pretty much almost everything else seems to be.
Yeah, it's just some of the TVs, they don't have 3D support anymore. Like it's not starting to fall by the wayside. It's a gimmick for in-home theaters, but it's still a moneymaker for actual movie theaters.
Yeah, well, I guess. I mean, you've already got the technology there. You just need the glasses. So yeah, I wouldn't doubt. And they've already made obviously the investment for it. So that's what you want people to use it since you've invested in it. But I don't know. I'd rather save my money and see the movie, because there's like only a few. Like, I heard Avatar is really good in 3D. When I saw it, actually I saw it just at home without 3D, and it was still awesome. But I'm pretty sure, by the way everyone tells me, I've missed out, and that's fine.
So now you just need to get a 3D TV and a 3D Blu-ray, and you're set.
Yeah, just start burning my money, because well, you have a 3D TV, right?
Yeah.
So do you watch all your movies in 3D? Because why wouldn't you? Because, yeah, 3D, right? When was the last movie you watched in 3D?
Here?
Yes, on your TV. Not in general, because it's hard to avoid. You actually have to actively avoid 3D in theaters, but I mean, in your own home, you can easily never watch it in 3D. So I'm wondering, do you watch anything, or do you just watch it normally, even if it has a 3D option? Will you even turn it on?
Like, if I have the Blu-ray, the 3D Blu-ray disc for it, then I will watch it in 3D. In
theory, or when was the last time you did do it, actually?
No, I'll actually do it. It's just that I don't have that many movies that come with a 3D Blu-ray disc anymore. They used to come out more often, but now they're harder to come by.
Huh.
Which one is it? Tron comes to mind. That's a while ago, but can't really think of what else we have.
I was going to say, because I mean...
But I've seen that movie a bunch of times in 3D on the TV, and it looks awesome.
Yeah, I guess so.
And there's a button on there that convert like 2D to 3D.
Often do use
so
that.
It's like a software processing thing, but I don't use it just because I'm tired. It's a hassle to.
That's what I was getting at. That's what I was thinking. Like, it seems more of a,
because it's the same issue again. The glasses don't fit very well over someone who already wears glasses.
I'm surprised you just haven't made modifications to your in-home glasses. You're like, this will work.
It's a head strap with goggles.
Yeah, something to tighten it up so it stays on your face, kind of thing. Although that would be extra work, and you've already paid enough for said TV with 3D that you shouldn't have to do extra work to make it work. It should just work fine out of the box.
I think that's the next big push would be glasses less 3D.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
like, they have
that would be awesome.
Billboard-sized TVs, like billboard-size LCD displays that work, that are 3D, that you don't need glasses for. But it works in a very narrow viewing area. Otherwise, it just looks weird.
Well, that's perfect then.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
But it's something that they're still working on. It's not like they've completely given up on it.
No, of course not. They still got to innovate for TVs. I mean...
And theme park rides.
Well, yeah. But those are niche. Those are... I mean, they have their own whatever kinds of, like, Decimus make the best awesome. But for the home consumer audience, they've still got to keep coming up with stuff. Now they have, what, the 4K. That's the next... Is that the next thing?
Yeah, that's the next thing, but...
Is it supposed to... Is it just clear?
Yeah, it's clear. It's supposed to be 4 times the resolution.
I heard there's like a point at which the human eye just doesn't even detect.
Yeah, the upper limit is when is a 8K TV. Then they're like, yeah, there's nothing beyond that. Like, you can't even process all of 8K. But that's like your upper limit right there. So it's almost like when they had 720p and 1080p and they're selling HD TVs. It's like, yeah, it's 720, but at the same time you had 1080. It's like, why would you stop in the middle? It's like, well, it's because it's cheaper. But then later on, 720 kind of fell by the wayside. Now pretty much everything's 1080.
Yes, 1080 is.
And 720 just stuck around for like smaller displays like phones and tablets and stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel that 4K is kind of the same.
Like it's not 4K that much like, of a leap. It sounds like a big leap, but then when you're really like...
I mean, it's clear. Like, it's really clear when you see it.
But I mean, like, is it... Like, how much more versus a non-4K, but like a good...
Yeah, to me, it's like if you have 1080p right now, it's kind of like the jump 4K would be like if you had a 480, the standard TV before they went high def. Standard definition. You went from that to 720. That's kind of how I feel 4K is, and 8K would be like 1080p.
Well, that seems like a big jump then from 1080 to 4K, because 480 to 720, that's pretty big, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying it is a pretty big jump.
Yeah, it's a big jump, but it's like I don't want to invest in technology more than I already have.
Well, yeah. Why?
I waited a long time to get this TV.
Right. No, I understand. That's why I was like, and so how much like, more, like, on average is...
I think it's double.
It's double.
At least double.
But their picture quality is double better. It's like twice as good. Then it's like 480p times, 4K. So it's even more than that.
But the thing is, there's different things. They'll call it 4K or ultra high definition. But it's not true 4K because it'd throw off the aspect ratio of the TV.
So they're just pitching around like buzzwords in order to confuse.
You have to really do your research to make sure that you're buying a true 4K TV and not just one that's branded as 4K that delivers less resolution than what you're expecting.
Assumably, the price would be one kind of way to see that. If it's 4K ultra high definition, but then for some reason it's super cheap, it'd be like, okay, maybe that's one way of saying, okay, it's probably not going to work as intended.
Yeah. I mean, like, I haven't really put much research into 4K, and it's still like right on the cutting edge of technology for the average consumer. So it's not something I've really been following, especially that I know 8K is right around the corner, and that is pretty much what you want for the true upper limit. So it's 8K is basically saying there's something happening right outside my window. Let's have a look. And the TV becomes your window.
Okay. I do, well, because it kind of made me think of like how like gaming systems are getting, like, it used to be like you had your bit wars where you had like the 8-bit, like 16-bit, 32-bit, 64-bit. Like, it was even though no one probably knew what they were talking about bits
Bigger
anyway. But more is better, kind of thing.
More is more.
But even then, the graphics did get better. Your Nintendo to Super Nintendo, and so on and so forth, into your Sony's.
We have
and
polygons.
They did actually start looking better and better each generation. But then nowadays, or even past couple years, the leaps have been less so. Like you've had to really hey, look at that grass kind of thing. Those kind of comments where you're not even wow, this you just look at the screen and tell this was better than last year's graphics the year before. It's kind of getting so incremental that its graphics aren't even an argument anymore. Now it's kind of,
unless they really put in the effort to it, then you actually have some of those people out there on the interwebs saying, stop photoshopping real life and calling it a game. It's no, this is actual in-game footage. It's no, it's a photograph. It's no, it's in-game.
Yeah, but then eventually...
But those games are far and few between.
Yeah, and then eventually one day those will be the norm, actually.
Yeah.
And then all of the games oh, okay, those are in-game graphics, whatever. Although if you went back to the 80s and 90s and showed somebody playing on their NES... or even Super Nintendo, hey,
Atari.
Here's what graphics are going to look like. You're okay, no. They'd be which? It's not how it's going to be, which makes me wonder if TVs are reaching that point, actually. Like you said,
8K is going to be where it stops.
So you're going to have to, and they're obviously not going to stop making TVs, so they're going to have to find other ways to innovate. 3D was kind of another...
Holodecks.
Well, then you don't even need your freaking TV anymore because you can just be inside it. But until then...
No, that's going to be the Oculus Rift.
Well,
8K.
the Oculus... yes. Although, that's...
With an Omnitread.
It was pretty awesome. But for TVs, I guess once you get to the 8K, then resolution is finally going to be a moot point, pretty much.
Yeah,
so
which is pretty much... It's going to be a long waiting game, but I'm willing to wait.
Right. Is it going to be that long? Because it kind of seems like it's coming finite where...
Yeah, it's actually coming faster.
Because
if you
there's
look
nothing
back at
else
the
to
technology,
focus on. That they got to focus on.
Yeah.
The resolution bit. And then at that point, when they reach 8K, when that becomes almost standard, where you can just go to a Walmart and pick one up for nothing, barely anything, then they're going to have to come up with some other thing to make you buy the new TV, because it's not going to be resolution anymore.
It's almost I remember when they were still selling VHSs in the stores, and it was on the very tail end of VHS dying out, and people were like, DVDs, why don't you have VHS? It's well, DVD players are cheap now. You can get one from $10 from Circuit City during Black Friday. I'm wait, what? $10? It's yeah, it's in the ad. Didn't you look? I'm no, I didn't see. It's we're going to Circuit City after this. We're going to pick up a DVD player for $10.
Yeah. Once technology and that's what I'm wondering about TVs, because what's going to, I said, the curved displays are kind of, it just seems like something they're doing now. And I think it's something, like you said, it's kind of more about improved immersion kind of thing. As it curves out, forward, you kind of feel like you're...
But at the same time, that limits your viewing angles, too. So, you'd have to be perfectly front and center. Even though the viewing angles would still be pretty well, you won't get the full effect unless you're right smack in the middle of it.
Oh, yeah, I was... Let's see, what do they have? I was trying to... Yeah, the viewing angles... I guess you'd have to get bigger then. So you'd have curved, bigger.
It's if you say you have it mounted on a wall and you're trying to look at it from the side, you can't really do that with the curved TV. You're oh, I see the side of the TV now.
No, that is true. Although if you're that far to the side anyway, you're already kind of...
But at least you'd be able to catch a glimpse of what's going on with the normal flat TVs.
True, but it'd be a really crappy glimpse kind of thing, but you would get something, so that is true. But yeah, I guess
tiltable wall mounts.
I don't know where they're headed, but I mean, it's not my job to figure that out anyway. So I'm sure they'll be on top of something, since 3D, I guess, like you were saying, even the 3D movies aren't as prevalent anymore. Like, just, I mean, they're out there, obviously, but it used to be for a while. It's like the 3D Blu-ray just was for everything, just right there.
Well, one of the perfect examples is like Frozen. That one was released in 3D, and they had the short Mickey's Get a Horse, where, spoilers, it's the black and white flat 2D movie or cartoon, and then it pops out of the screen. So that's where the 3D effect would be like, wow, this is cool. And they released Frozen on DVD and Blu-ray, but not Blu-ray 3D. So I didn't buy it because I'm not going to be a sucker and pay for it like twice.
Oh, you think they're going to come out with it later then?
No, they already announced that they're going to come out with a 3D version, I think this before Christmas or Thanksgiving, somewhere around there, but they're supposed to have another Frozen push. But they were just trying to capitalize on the popularity of Frozen right now, which is why they have Frozen in the theme parks, both Walt Disney World and here, like more activities.
Well, you might as well. Yeah, it's true. It is pretty hot right now. Well, I mean it's cooling down a little bit, but I mean, it with all the renditions of Let It Go and everything. Yeah, it's pretty popular, so might as well make
capitalize
that money
while you can.
Yeah, and then get them again when you release the 3D, which I didn't even know, but that's kind of crappy, I guess.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, it's coming out, I can finally get it, and then what? No 3D. That's the point. I wanted it 3D so I could watch it in 3D. Mostly because it's short.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, looks like we're about past an hour, so we'll wrap this up for now. Pick it up later.
So yeah, Guardians. Awesome.
Yeah, okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah, trailer. Oh, well, were you going to tell us the whole trailer, or are you going to, I mean...
Well, should I?
No.
Okay.
I'd like to go watch it, and I mean, it's only a trailer, but I mean, you said it's a scene, so...
Yeah, they show a clip from the thing, so it's the trailer that you're kind of familiar with, that you've seen, and then they splice in the scene into that, and at the end, they kind of splice in more of the trailers that you've seen.
Oh, okay.
To kind of round it all out, but it flows together pretty well. You get a better feel for the characters, and you definitely get educated a lot more on what they're about and everything. So definitely recommend it.
And I hope they do.
If you have a pass or are able to see at Disneyland, do that.
And if you happen to not live in California, Southern California specifically, tough shit.
Unless you're in Florida, then you can go see it over there.
Okay, if you're in two of the 50 states, or that it's actually showing in.
I think they're going to have another round of having the exclusive trailers, so if you just keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I guess so.
SeeItFirst.com, or just check online.
It seems like a weird decision to keep it so closed. I mean, yeah, it's cool if you get to see it, but that's a lot of people that don't get to see it, and you'd want more than opposed to less, unless you wanted to keep it somehow mysterious and a special, very special thing. But I mean,
well, they've also been doing this for a really long time, and Disney's movie marketing machine's like the best out there. Not to say it works all the time, but
well, I mean, I guess this is the first I've heard of it. But then again, it seems like this has been a pretty big. I don't know if it's because I've been paying attention more than I have for other stuff, but it seems like every trailer that comes out is just better and better and more.
Oh, there's a side-by-side trailer review, a comparison that they had online too, and they showed how they tweaked the trailers and enhanced everything and made it slightly better. from when they first showed the very first trailer to the most current trailer now, and took the same scene and they're like, oh, look, it's way more detailed and has more atmosphere and more eye candy. It just pops more. So you get drawn into the movie a lot.
Oh, so they've been really working it then.
Yeah, so it's still a work in progress that they're still trying to put the finishing touches on, but it's basically completed.
I'd like to hope so, because they are running out of time. But when is it coming out? Is it
August?
The first week in August?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay then. So yeah, it's coming up then, finally. And I would like to see that trailer. I would like not to have to go out of my way to see it, but I mean, I'd like to see them just release an official version online at some point in time. So if they want to keep it special for a while, it's okay. You know, people can wait. But if people already know about it, they're probably just going to hunt it down YouTube and find a crappier version of it just to see it. Because I mean, I want to just see it just to, even if it is a crappier version, I just want to see what they have on there.
Kind of like Avengers. So people were like, "Oh, definitely seeing that anyway."
Yeah, I don't think I gobbled it up as much, although I did want to see Avengers, and so. And
then, the ones who aren't the hardcore fans, I think just the movie doing well that first opening week, which is what they're really trying to get, is the hardcore fans to go see it opening day and get those really good solid numbers for the weekend. And then have everyone else who are more casual, like, I don't really know who this is, but look how well the movie's doing. It's like, we should probably go see it. And I kind of have a feeling that's their strategy.
I don't know. I think with that first trailer they came out, they kind of knocked it out of the park for even not, like, I'm not a hardcore fan. I didn't even know who the hell they were before that. So I didn't know them. I didn't care. I thought it was actually stupid. I'm like, why are you going with such unestablished characters? Why not go with established characters and then, do that? But then after seeing that first trailer, I think a lot of people
I remember
might just turn completely around and just go, what's going what is this thing?
I remember the trailer first coming out, and Ethan, he was like, it's Rocket Raccoon. It's a friggin' raccoon in the movie. It's going to be awesome. I'm like, what are you talking about? Guardians of the Galaxy. What?
Exactly. They didn't know any of the... Well, most people. I didn't. Most casuals, except for maybe hardcore. Like, Ethan knew what it was. But other than that, if you're not hardcore, you just saw a raccoon. Well, I don't know if he was shooting the gun. Oh, no, he was. It was really brief in the first trailer. But yeah, you saw it. And it was just a bunch of images that didn't make any sense, but looked completely awesome. You had no frame of reference about these characters yet.
It's very Avengers-ish. But
yeah, it's that action. It's funny. So that's also something they I think that was brilliant on their part. I don't know even if the whole movie's going to be like that, but the scenes they chose, the ones with Star-Lord kind of giving the one-liners and just all the characters just doing it's kind of funny actually too. So you kind of bring in that where it's not just like alienating people. It's like, it's funny. You can laugh at it too. There's action. It's not threatening really. I mean, you have this big action, but it's not threatening. It feels like, it's like, hey, you want to know more. It seems fun.
And the characters are relatable, like totally relatable.
Right. It seems fun, even though totally relatable. One's a talking not raccoon, but it looks like a raccoon that fires a gun.
Personality-wise, at least.
One's a tree. One's a green assassin.
Which, once you see it, everything becomes way more clear. And
it makes sense when you see it, but in the trailer, do you have all these things that are just like, what? But you don't really care because the trailer is so much fun that I'm on board for this. I'll learn who they are later. But so you don't get in depth with the characters, but you kind of, the fun sense of the trailer makes you want to know more.
Yeah. Well, I think this expanded preview pretty much sealed the deal. If you're on the fence,
it puts the other pieces in place. It actually gives you those here's who you're looking at.
And if you were already sold on the first trailer, then this one just makes you like, it's not coming out soon enough.
Yeah. Definitely puts you into take my money mode.
Yes.
That's good. And that's why I think they eventually will, like maybe after another tour of, or letting people see it in the specialized theaters and stuff, I believe they will. They have time to like release it. I think they will eventually release the extended trailer online, an official HD Disney version of it. Eventually, probably, and then everyone else will get to have their mind blown if they don't happen to live near any of these theaters or anywhere where they can see it. Then they can have their mind blown in due time. But I think there was a trailer that came out kind of recently. It's not probably the extended one that you saw, but I think I hadn't seen the newest one. I kind of missed it and then forgot to go back and look at it. But I did want to look at that, so I'm gonna have to try to look that up now, even though I kind of want to see that extended one even more. But maybe I'll search on YouTube for now just to see it, because
it's like handy cam trailer.
Yeah,
sneak peek.
Except everything's gonna be shaking and rattling and it's gonna be poor. Like, oh, where'd you record this on your Motorola Razr or something?
Other extended trailers for the other movies like Maleficent and like the Muppets? Anything online?
No, actually, well, because I didn't look. So yeah, and I don't think there was an official one, or I'd like to think someone would have. It would have been on like some official post, maybe, but I guess I wasn't really looking for it, so maybe it did for the Maleficent one. I saw the one that
should probably do our research before we start.
Well, I mean, we'll catch up on the back end. We're doing it for this one. We could look up if they did it from Maleficent, if it actually exists. But I mean, I guess the extended trailer, even for that one, kind of actually didn't really add too much. You still had no idea what was going on. You still kind of knew what you knew. Maleficent, this is a different story. That's kind of what I got from the extended trailer, whereas it sounds like the Guardians of the Galaxy extended really explains more of the characters that are going on.
Yeah, it gives you more of the backstory.
This one, the Maleficent one, just seemed to give you more from the movie. Like, here's some more scenes from the movie. It won't really explain anything that you don't already know. Here's Maleficent.
Eye candy.
Yeah, basically. Here's Maleficent. You know her already. Here's fairies, you know them. Here's Aurora, you know her. You already know everyone in it, so except
the casting was a little weird.
Yeah. But I mean, it was fine. I didn't make me want to watch it anymore. I kind of already felt like watching it, so I guess it kind of made me want to watch it more, but
have you seen it?
I've seen Maleficent. Yeah.
Worth it?
Yeah, it's worth watching. I wasn't as excited as I am to go see Guardians, but I did want to see it just to see what it was about, and it looked interesting. It had action in it, at least in the trailers. So,
did you see The Great and Powerful Oz?
Yes, I did see that too.
How does that compare?
It's pretty.
Because they're both, people were saying it's the backstories of both characters that you really didn't ask for, but they gave it to you anyway.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think this Maleficent and the Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty, they're two completely different stories, actually. Yeah. It's kind of like, in my mind, it's kind of like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I'm not sure if that's, I think that's the Tim Burton one, or it's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Whichever one's the Tim Burton one versus the old original one with Gene Wilder. Some people really hate some people that really like the original hate the new one, but I think of them as two completely different movies, actually, and they're both good. I love the original one. I love all that stuff, but I also really like the new one, but in two completely different ways. They're not even on the same level, because they both seem to be going for two different things. So I think the Maleficent one is kind of the same thing, where if you like the original Sleeping Beauty, that one's completely different than the one that's in Maleficent, and it's not the same story, basically, because it doesn't even match up, really, even. So even watching Maleficent, I was trying to piece it together because I was seeing Sleeping Beauty. I was trying to put the pieces together. So, like, where would this fit into the original canon? And it doesn't. It just makes no sense if you try to put them together. So I was like, Maleficent, it's over here. It's its own backstory. The movie is its own thing, but it's not the Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty. That's a completely different one. Because there's a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't fit together.
Yeah, I was just looking on Amazon, and they have the pop vinyls for Guardians of the Galaxy. They look really cool. Like, merchandising sells itself too.
Well, I mean, it's already going to make money, so, I mean, might as well start throwing out the pop figures. Or any other things, like the costume's probably going to sell well, the gun, everything. Going to sell well, so, you know, it's only a matter of time.
Just a matter of time.
So, okay, so, yeah, it's...
Yeah. So. Definitely can't wait for it. Gotta go see it. Gotta see the other trailer first. And then the movie.
Right.
Just a few more weeks. Just a few more weeks. Gotta hold out just a little bit longer.
Yes. That is how the song goes. Correct.
And I guess that wraps it up for that night. So
yeah, looks like we're done for today. But thanks for listening once again. And we'll be back next week with another episode of kNights podcast. Here with Ben again. And this is Kikoa, and we'll talk to you later. What time?